Trump unveiled in Washington was not a peace plan. It was a parody, a deal proclaimed as a breakthrough, negotiated between an American enabler and an Israeli perpetrator, with the very people whose fate it decides erased from the stage. Trump sat beaming beside Netanyahu, thanking him for agreeing to a plan Netanyahu had written himself. And the Palestinians? Nowhere. Not Hamas, not even the Palestinian Authority, not even a token figure to lend the charade a shred of credibility. This is not diplomacy. This is colonial arrogance dressed in the language of peace. It's the same logic that birthed the Abraham Accords. Strike deals over Palestine without Palestinians. Celebrate peace while ignoring the occupation. Call it reconciliation while you blockade, starve and bomb a people into silence. But let's be clear, this is not negotiation. It is imposition. It is surrender dressed up as statesmanship. Netanyahu knows how to kill negotiations, assassinate negotiators, from Ismail Haniyeh to those bombed in Doha as they sat to discuss Trump's draft. Eliminate the talks, eliminate the negotiators, then stand in Washington to announce a plan written by genocide partners. And to dignify the circus, a host of Arab and Muslim leaders summoned not to defend Palestinians but to pressurize them, whether they know it or not. Their role is not protection, it is cover, not to shield Palestine but to shove it towards submission. Netanyahu himself crowed in astonishment. Who could believe it? That Muslim and Arab regimes would provide the fig leaf for Israel's diktat. Strip away the theatre and what's left? Thin gruel. One concrete item, the return of hostages. Everything else, smoke. No guarantees of withdrawal, no binding commitments, just vague promises while Israeli troops remain entrenched. What Trump gave Netanyahu was not compromise, but victory. The very victory he failed to achieve by force. After 2 years of bombs, massacres, and impunity, Israel failed to crush Gaza. It failed to bring its hostages home by war. It failed to break Palestinian will. Trump's deal is an attempt to turn defeat into triumph, to conjure through the veneer of diplomacy what could not be won on the battlefield. But Israel is not triumphant. It is isolated. At the UN, 77 delegations walked out as Netanyahu spoke, leaving him to preach to empty chairs. Across Europe and the US, poll after poll shows public opinion tilting decisively against Israel, with younger generations leading the revolt. And that is the true aim of this deal, to break that tide, to smother boycotts, to suffocate protests, to silence a rising global conscience, and in its place, a colonial guardianship, a so-called peace council chaired by Donald Trump and overseen by Tony Blair. Yes, Tony Blair, the man whose colonial delusions and blood-soaked record in Iraq disqualify him from running a playground of the Middle East, let alone Gaza. This is not peace. It is the Gaza Humanitarian Humiliation Foundation, expanded and repackaged, the same machinery of domination and repression dressed up in flowery human jargon. And the rulers who sit beside Netanyahu, from the Emiratis who whispered with him as the world turned away at the UN to those paraded behind Trump's podium, are not partners in peace, they're accomplices in subjugation. As Egypt's former UN delegate, Mu'taz Khalil, put it, this is a plan of surrender. It silences Palestinians. It strips them of representation. It hands Netanyahu the absolute victory he promised and failed to win. History will not be kind to this moment. A ceasefire plan that excludes the occupied is not a peace plan. It is a colonial diktat, the language of mandate and tutelage revived for the 21st century. It is the same conceit that promised away Palestinians' homes and villages in their absence without their consent in the Balfour Declaration of 1917. Then from London, today from Washington, mandates, protectorates, trusteeships, all the euphemisms of empire recycled to deny a people their voice. But here's the truth. Palestine cannot be written off. Gaza cannot be negotiated away. It lives in the conscience of the world, and that conscience is rising. Trump and Netanyahu can draft as many plans as they please, but outside their conference rooms, the world is shifting. Millions march. Boycotts deepen, public opinion tilts, the tide is turning, and no paper agreement can stem it. Palestine has become the conscience of the world, and that cannot be negotiated away.